Here's the final look. See, it's not that complicated. It's actually quite easy as long as you have the right tools. So, happy upcycling! Hi everybody, welcome back to Zevaulia with me Zeva, and in this video I would like to share with you another upcycling DIY idea, and if you want to know what this is, keep on watching. For this upcycling DIY, I will let you know how to turn your very own jacket into a cropped jacket. So if you have a big size jacket that you don't really use anymore or that you want to give it a new feel and look to it, this is a really cool idea that you can implement. I have various personal items that are of sentimental value because each item that I have, I believe, has its own memories. I'm not a hoarder or anything, but there are certain items that I just don't want to throw away. For example, is this polar fleece here. So this polar fleece jacket I've owned since I was 12, and it has accompanied me in various netball matches and netball tournaments that I was a part of. I was a netball player, and this jacket has accompanied me throughout every weekends whenever I did those tournaments. So this means a lot. The amazing thing about buying great quality items is that if you know how to take care of it well, it will last for years. For example, this one here is a living proof of how a jacket like this, a polar fleece jacket, it's from Puma by the way, can last until more than 10 years. I've had this since I was 12 years old. So if you have a jacket that you would like to give a little makeover so it'll look more fresh and you will have a new look that you could wear on your everyday basis or even when you go to the gym or do some sports, keep on watching because you will surely like this design. These are the items and tools that you need to prepare. Some are optional and some are a must, so take note.
Keep it moving, put that shit behind me. Keep my diamonds blinding. Gotta keep it suave like I'm Sade in the 90s. Do it like it's ruling. Roll it, burn it, lose it. Hit that black and red, keep spending decks. I keep it moving. Put that shit behind me. Keep my diamonds blinding.
For this DIY, I will be using a sewing machine, but if you don't have a sewing machine, it's completely fine. You can also use a needle and a thread. If you have a jacket that looks like mine, it has a front pouch, we need to pull this off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this seam ripper and rip the seams, rip the threads off the upper parts of the pouch. You don't need to rip the bottom parts of the pouch because we will be cutting off the bottom parts of the jacket anyway. Next, I am roughly measuring my jackets just so I know where to cut. I'm using this measuring tape to help me. Once that's done, use your water-soluble marker, crayon or pencil to help you mark some dots and lines that will guide you when you crop off your jacket. Next, you have the option to use a pair of scissors or also a rotary blade, so you can use either or whichever you have. Now, if you want to use a rotary blade, it is super important to use a cutting mat or cutting board at the bottom of your jacket so you won't ruin the surface that you're using. For example, my surface is wood and I don't want to scratch my wood table. But if you don't have a rotary blade anyway, you can just use a pair of scissors and you don't need the mat. If you're using scissors, take your time, don't rush because you don't want to make a wonky cut. After that's done, I'm turning this jacket inside out because we will be sewing soon. Before we start sewing, it is super important that we measure the hem area first. Now usually I measure 2 inches at the very beginning. Now this 2 inches will be folded in half into 1 inch. We will see that later. So measure with your measuring tape 2 inches of the hem, and after that use head pins all along the 2-inch mark so we know where the 2-inch mark is. After that, fold this in half into a 1-inch hem as you can see here because this is what we want. And then using the head pins that was already placed on the 2-inch area, take that out and place it into the 1-inch line all around the jacket. Before I sew the jacket, this is super important and I would suggest you to do this as well. Grab a spare fabric, for example the bottom part of the jacket that we just cropped off, and use this to test the sewing machine and see whether all the needles and the thread is in place and there's no problem. Now let's start sewing. And again, if you don't have a sewing machine, it's completely fine. You can just use a needle and a thread. But if you're using a sewing machine like I am here, unless you're already a pro and you're like a designer and you're used to making clothes and all of that, you should take your time, take it slow, don't rush, and just make sure you get a straight line, a straight stitch all around the hems of your jacket. Just try your best to stitch neatly around the hem area. Once you're done stitching all around the hem area, don't forget to stitch back and forth at the very end to lock the stitch. If you're used to sewing, you already know this, but just getting the word out there just in case. And here's the final stitch. Not bad, right? Next, turn your inside-out jacket outside out. Because we will be inserting elastic cords within the hem area, we would need to cut a few holes so that the elastic cord can be pulled through and around the hem area. Use your water-soluble pencil, crayon, or marker to make the 2 holes where you need to cut. I'm just making a rough estimate, so I'm just making this around the middle area, as you can see. And remember, we only need to cut the upper part of the fabric, so we only need to make 2 holes on the upper part. This next step is optional, so if you don't want to use eyelets, it's completely fine, but if you want a clean-cut, smooth-looking finish, I would definitely recommend you to use eyelets. You can either use an eyelet kit, or you can also use individual eyelets like this and use a plier or a hammer to put it in place. If you find it challenging or super hard to insert the eyelet and put it in place with a hammer, a plier, or whatever comes with the eyelet kit, you can also simply use glue. The next step is to pull the elastic cord around the hem area through those holes. To make it easier, place a safety pin at the very end of your cord to help you pull the cord through the hem area.
You can find me at my best when I'm naked, when I'm lying by the pool getting faded. See, I used to give a fuck, now I'm jaded. I'm allergic to the bullshit, allergic to the bullshit. Orange soda, Deepak Chopra, Versace robe and my Gucci loafer.
Next up is to put the cord stopper in place. Now there are 2 ways to do this. The first way is if you're using a larger eyelet, you can tie both ends in place and tuck it away within the eyelet hole so that the tied up bit won't be seen. But if you have a smaller eyelet like me, what you can do is to insert the cord stopper first through both ends of the cord and then tie up the loose ends. If you don't want the ends of your cords to be seen, just simply tuck it away out of sight under your jacket. I really love crop jackets. It is like one of my signature go-to styles because I do have a short torso and it really helps, especially if the crop jacket is scrunched up at the bottom like this. Super cute. Here's the final look. See, it's not that complicated. It's actually quite easy as long as you have the right tools. So, happy upcycling! If you dig this style, don't forget to give your thumbs up and also comment in the comment section below. See you in the next video.